The more I think about it, the more I believe that Thomas Frank could take us up another level. And I'm not a deluded Tottenham fan basing this off some interview he's given. I'm basing this off the facts. We all know that Frank largely exceeded expectations at Brentford. 2 top 10 finishes after bringing them up to the league on a largely relatively shoestring budget. But I don't think you understand the challenges. You had Tony out for all those months with the betting scandal. He came back and he left. They brought in Igor Thiago, who was also injured, and yet he still elevated that squad. And I'm going to go with the obvious pairing of Vissa and Mbeumo, who went up a whole new level once Tony left. You look at other players like Sharda as well, but Frank is so good at working with the squad that he has. And, improving that squad even more with the likes of Mbeumo potentially coming to Tottenham now. It's looking like we're going to hijack that move. I think it's so exciting. Because we could talk all day about how the owner has gone for a cheap option, someone who can get the best out of a team on a shoestring budget. But genuinely, you look at the elevation that Frank has had with some of those players, and I think it's going to be so key for the likes of Archie Gray, Mikey Moore, Lucas Bergvall playing under Frank, because he really knows how to get the best out of players. You look at what he did with Ericsson, you look at what he did with Reguilon as well. This opens up a really interesting question on the players that we've loaned out last season. Minhook, Vuskovic, Phillips, who hasn't really looked like he's going to get a look in yet. I know there's others like Donnelly and Lancashire as well, but Frank is so good at getting the best out of a certain squad, and I think that this opens up a very interesting avenue for some of these players. Don't misunderstand me. I know we need to spend money. There are areas of this team that need to be patched up, and I know he has limited European experience. He had that short spell with Bromby. I know it's added games to him this season, smaller training sessions because of playing European football and the cups. I know the only trophy he won was that promotion with Brentford, but I look at what he gets out of that Brentford team. I look at the fact that they were the 5th highest scorers in the league last season. I look at the fact that only Man City committed fewer fouls than them last season in the league, and I just see so much potential. One of the main factors that Daniel Levy and the fans need to understand, that this is going to take time. I know we said all the time about a project with Ange is going to take time. That's done. We have to move on now. This is a new manager, but with someone like Nuno, for instance, he had 17 games. We started so well. I remember that 1-0 win against City. We went, I think we're top of the league after 3 games. If this starts slowly, we have to be patient and see it out. And of course, Frank has the challenges of winning over players like Lemera, who is clearly and rightly visibly upset about the sacking of Ange, but now we need to turn to bigger things, and the fact that he can win a Super Cup on his first game is a massive opportunity for him to elevate these players going into that new season. And while it is important to remember that this is a semi-risk for Tottenham, this is an even bigger risk for Thomas Frank. He was comfortable at Brentford, but he's taken himself to a new level with more responsibility, with higher expectations, and I firmly believe that he could be the man, if he is given that backing and given that time, that he can take us up a level.